If the factory chrome rear bumper on your 2014 through 2018 Silverado has been beat up or dented over the years due to a crash or just general abuse, well then you should definitely consider this affordable replacement that we're talking about here today. Now this option will be built to the same exact specifications as your factory bumper and will include cutouts for things like your backup sensors, of course, and also, as you can see, is finished in a nice chrome plating here and can be had all for right around that $500 price point. A few things to talk about here with this bumper, so let's just jump right into it. All right guys, so as I just mentioned again, this is gonna be a relatively affordable means to replacing a damaged factory chrome bumper on the rear end of your Silverado, and I would say doing it rather easily. Now, I say easily in this case because unlike other options out there, this bumper is essentially as turnkey as it gets. You're getting the skeleton or the bracing behind the actual bumper itself. You're also getting the traction surfaces here on top. It's already in place, installed, ready to go. And as you can see, you're even getting the footstep portion on the corners of the bumpers here, just like the stockers. Now what's different about this particular option is that yes, you are also getting the cutouts for factory rear parking sensors. That's really the only work you have to do with this bumper is physically transfer those sensors over to the new bumper, in addition to a couple other small things as well, as you'll see in the install. But again, going back to what I said earlier, this is essentially as turnkey as it gets in the land of bumper replacements. Now the bumper itself has been made from a durable die-form steel plating, and I would say is easily on par with the strength and overall thickness of the factory bumper and basic durability. Now the cherry on top, again, as I mentioned earlier, and as you guys can see from our shots here, will be the beautiful chrome plating to really finish things off, which is gonna look great, and again, easily on par with that of the factory chrome package trucks. Now, with that being said, guys, if you do have a paint match bumper truck, something like that, well then you can obviously scuff this thing up if you wanted to, paint it, as some of our customers have mentioned in the customer review section. However, at that point, if you do have a paint matched option, I'm just simply gonna recommend looking into an unpainted bumper here on the site. Simply pretty much identical to the one that's on the table with me here today, including options with or without those parking sensors. It's just gonna be primed and ready to be painted right out of the box. Certainly gonna be a bit more affordable, but obviously something to consider there. Now, speaking about the price a little bit more here, guys, again, the chrome bumper on the table with me today is gonna set you back around 500 bucks, give or take, which is gonna be on par with the rest of the OE style replacements on the site that are at least finished off in that chrome plating. Now, of course, as I mentioned earlier, you will find a few unpainted options on the site. They are gonna be more affordable, of course, but at that point, you do have to factor in the extra cost of getting that unpainted bumper matched to your Silverado home, which will run up the cost of your final kind of buy-in, if you will. So at the end of the day, check out the rest of our selection here at AT. Again, we have a number of options to choose from, and including options with or without those parking sensors. So just pay attention to that as well. You don't want to go buying a bumper with holes in it if you don't have those factory parking sensors, and you also don't want to have to drill into a brand new bumper. So small things to pay attention to, but big things at the end of the day that you certainly want to get right the first time. All right guys, now time to segue into our installation segment of the video. Honestly, this one really isn't gonna be that difficult, again, because you are getting such a complete bumper right out of the box. Some smaller things to transfer over, as we mentioned earlier, and as long as your factory bolts, your bumper bolts aren't all rusty, you should have a pretty easy day in the garage or driveway. So much so, site's gonna call this a strong 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and about an hour, I would say, at least to complete from start to finish. Maybe a little bit more if you're dealing with some rusty hardware, but also keep in mind, this thing kicks in brand new hardware. Always nice to point that stuff out as well. Enough about that, guys. Let's show you how to get it installed on your Silverado at home. So for that, we're gonna throw it out to my boys out in the shop for a detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
Tools required for this install include an impact gun, a flathead screwdriver, a clip remover tool, swivel adapter, 14, 15, 18, and 21 millimeter sockets. What's up guys? Today we're installing a rear bumper on our Silverado. First we're gonna watch a quick uninstall video showing you how to remove your stock bumper, and then I'll meet you right back here for the install.
All right guys, so to remove the factory bumper, it's pretty straightforward. It's just a couple of nuts and bolts. You'll need a 15, 18, and 21 millimeter socket, but before we actually loosen the bumper, we have to tackle a couple of electrical connections. Specifically, we have to unplug our trailer harness, and we also have to take out both of our license plate lights. You don't need any tools for those, it's just a couple of plastic retainers. Let's go ahead and give them a squeeze with your fingers, rotate them, and pop them free. All right, so we're actually able to pop the license plate out because we can't show you guys underneath the bumper, but in order to disconnect this real easy, just go ahead and twist, and the light bulb will come right out. All right, now that we have all those electrical connections taken care of, we can disconnect the bumper. We're gonna start with this bottom bolt here on the bottom frame. Really, you'll need your 21 millimeter socket for this guy. All right, next we're gonna unbolt the bumper from the side of the frame rail here. It's secured with one 15 millimeter bolt and two 18 millimeter nuts. Now, keep in mind, once you remove this hardware, the bumper will be disconnected from the vehicle. It is a little heavy, so you wanna make sure that you have a friend holding it or jack stand supporting it. All right, once you've removed those two nuts, you can remove the double bolt plate from the other side of the frame. All right, once you remove that double bolt plate, you can remove that 15 millimeter bolt. If you're using power tools, I'd recommend using a short socket because it is a squeeze. All right, we got all those nuts and bolts removed and we're ready to remove our bumper. But before we do that, you want to take your time, right? Because there actually still is a wiring harness that has some Christmas tree fittings, some little plastic retaining clips holding it to the top of the bumper. So pull it out a little bit, just enough to expose that, and then with a plastic trim tool or with flathead screwdriver or just with your fingers if you really want to, go ahead and gently pry those free. Once the wiring harness is free, then you can pull the bumper out of the frame rails entirely.
So now with our factory bumper removed, we're gonna have to transfer over a few things to our new bumper. Now our truck wasn't equipped with parking sensors. However, since this bumper is for parking sensors, you would pop out your factory sensors. The other things we'll need to swap out are the plug for our trailer hitch, the two clips for our license plate bolts, as well as the tube for our spare tire and the clip behind it. So now we can start with our trailer plug. We have a clip on each side. I'm gonna take a flathead screwdriver to pop out the clips. And then we can bring that over to our new bumper and pop that into place. Next, we can get the two clips for our license plate bolts. So we can just kind of pry in with a flathead and pop that right out. Slide it into our new one. Now next, for our spare tire tube, we can just kind of pop that out. And then we're gonna take this ring here and pinch it together to pop that out, and we'll transfer this to our new bumper. Now we can put our clip onto our bumper. Now these hooks are gonna hook around the metal here. And then with that in place, we can install our tube. So now with everything transferred over, the last thing we need are our parking sensors. Now on the factory bumper, if you have the parking sensors, you're gonna pry up on two tabs and then you can pull your sensor out. Once you have those two tabs pried outwards, you can pinch them in and push them through your bumper. Now once you have that little bezel out of your stock bumper, you're gonna push it through the front side of this bumper, and then you can push your sensor in so that those tabs lock into place. Once you have your four sensors transferred over, we'll be ready to mount this up to the truck. So now we're ready to install our new rear bumper. I'm gonna grab myself a second set of hands to help lift this up and get it into place. One thing to keep in mind is to slide that tube over this tube when you're installing the bumper. We've got new hardware included in this kit so that we don't have to reuse the old rusty hardware. So we're gonna lift this up, we're gonna get our double bolt plate coming from the inside out through the frame rails, and then we'll get our nuts on the other sides. So now I've got my buddy, we're ready to mount up our bumper and get our double bolt plates installed. So next we can throw in that bolt next to our double nut plate. Now I'm going to take a 14mm socket to tighten that down. Next we can switch to our 18mm socket to tighten down our two nuts. And then with those tightened down, we can thread in our bottom bolt. And we'll tighten that down with an 18mm socket as well. And then we can do that same thing on the other side. Next, we can come back underneath the truck and reconnect our trailer plug, as well as our license plate lights. We'll slide that in and twist to the right to lock it into place. And then we'll do the same thing for the license plate light on the other side. Next, we can reconnect our two clips into the holes in the top side of our bumper. And then we'll do that same thing on the other side. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the factory style rear bumper, pre-drilled for backup sensors in chrome for your 2014 to 18 Silverado 1500. Thank you for watching, and for all things Silverado, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.